going on, people? We are back again with another episode of Mmtalks. I'm here with my boys, Jedediah and
Ethan.
Over to my right, and that is what we're going on with. The boys have been away for a whole week. They have been down to the beautiful seaside resort or the coastal resort of Cornwall and seeing great family that Ethan has. And yeah, I'm actually going to leave it to you guys. How has your week been?
Yo, I've said this at least 3 times just today in work meetings. I was like, last week, the week that's just gone, one of the best weeks of my life. Genuinely, that week was incredible, life-changing experiences, and it's all because of the wonderful man sitting to my right, left on your screen, if we're flipping it, and your beautiful family.
Yeah, the week was fantastic. I haven't spent such a long period of time with my mum for over a year because of the pandemic and travel issues and travel reasons. It was a magical, fantastic, brilliant week, and I'm really excited to speak to everyone about it and share some of those experiences. How are you doing, Devon? How was your week?
My week's been okay. Like, you know, it's been a bit of a hectic week, a lot going on. You know, we've got more projects coming in. Still trying to do my own projects at the same time. So yeah, a bit of a hectic week, but it's nice to just chill out and slowly get things into place, start a plan, and start executing those plans. So yeah, it's been a great week for me. So apart from seeing family, obviously, you saw your mum, Carl, obviously that's been on one of our episodes before. Guys, go check it out. Great episode to see.
Incredible episode.
Also, check out the amazing pictures that these two put up on Instagram. You know, their bios will be down there. I'll put it down in the description. But apart from seeing Cornwall, seeing family, you guys did a half marathon, if I'm not correct.
Yes, we did. And we actually spoke about it on one of the most recent podcasts, right? But I think, as we should remind them what it was for, first of all.
So this half marathon across Dartmoor, which is a national park, a protected area.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, absolutely stunning. Was to raise money for a charity which is called Just for Kids Law.
Just for Kids Law, don't forget it.
And this charity aims to support people from the age of 10 to 25, within the ages of 10 to 25, with legal support, including support for housing and immigration, as well as advocating for youth to find their voice on the legal platform and potentially get out of dangerous situations, and also working on the decriminalisation of youth and children. An amazing charity. And thank you everyone who supported so far, and if you would like to support, we'll put a link in the bio.
We can put a link in the bio, definitely.
Or you can find it on our page at Motivational Moments.
Yeah.
And also on you guys' other podcast that is...
Is a hot dog a sandwich, or is a hot dog a pod, depending on where you're looking.
So, you know, I'm actually going to ask you a bit more about that as well, because obviously we do our own podcast, which is a bit more, a bit more serious, a bit more, you know, trying to get people to do more with their lives. What is the meat and flesh of your podcast? What is a hot dog a sandwich? What is it behind?
Bro, fantastic question. And really, the podcast is in the name. Is a hot dog a sandwich? Everybody who hears that question, every time we tell people the name of the podcast, they hit us with, well, yes, or well, no, obviously not. And so immediately we've begun the debate. Yeah. And that's exactly what it is. Me and Ethan are pitted against each other on some philosophical topics, some current topics, but mostly some really fun polarizing topics. We go as far as red versus blue, young versus old, all of those, and in between. But to as deep as, are we living in a simulation? And we challenge each other to do it in a quick fire. You know, it's 2 minutes a piece, go at each other, and then we leave it up to the fantastic listeners to decide who won that debate. And to be honest, Ethan has been on fire the last few episodes. I need to catch up.
Very, very generous for the words, and thank you for listening in and the cross sharing. I think we support each other as well across the podcast. But going back to the run that you asked about, this run across Dartmoor was fantastic. Myself and Jed had different training regimes going into it.
Don't do that. One person had a training regime and the other person was doing something completely different.
I was going to say, it kind of sounded like saying someone wasn't training for it.
I know where this is going, but yeah, please continue.
And we've spoken about previously on the podcast running your own race and not comparing to anyone else. Now, if I tried to run that half marathon at the pace of Mo Farah, I would have been done after maybe 5 kilometers, probably less because they run incredibly fast.
Yeah.
And myself and Jed, we started together. We started running through this forest, which was a bit of a maze, but it was gorgeous and it was beautiful. And the kilometers were just going past. And we hit a point where Jed said something that was incredibly important for both of us. He said, "Ethan, I want you to go. We've got to this point. We've been together. We've had a chat. We've encouraged each other along. But you need to go at your own pace, and I need to go at mine." And I appreciated this because Jed's my brother, just as Fabian's my brother. Yeah. We all like to stick with each other, and we've all got each other's back. Yeah. I had set myself a goal to run it within a certain time, and Jed knew that, and he enabled me to feel, to relieve some of the guilt, which I shouldn't have been carrying anyway, but to relieve some of that guilt and go. Yeah. We then bumped into Carl, and we bumped into a cyclist on the way there who was also encouraging. A bit further down the line, let's say kind of about 7 kilometers in, there was this lovely couple walking up, and I was like, I want to do something that will show love and kind of encourage my brother to continue running and to continue kind of feeling this wonderful energy and appreciate the run for what it was. So I said to them, I was like, "Hi guys, how are you doing today? My friend's going to come, he's going to be running down this path. Can you tell him he's got a beautiful smile, a lovely smile?" And we were keeping in contact over the iPhone and stuff like that. So a couple of kilometers down the line, Jed messaged me back. He said, "Oh, you've got a lovely smile too." And not only did that, I'm sure, boost him, but it also boosted me because I was like, "Oh, these people that I've just met have wanted to spread that joy further," which is what we do on this podcast. Yeah. They've embodied the motivational moments attitude, and it's also given a little boost to Jed. He's had a little laugh, the kick of endorphins, and he kept going.
Yeah, I'd actually really like to talk about that experience for myself, because literally just running, and like you say, I knew, Ethan was very kind there in saying that we both had different training regimes. He trained really well, and I used my other sports training as a way to power me through it, right? Because I haven't done much running before this, leading up to it. And yeah, I was running and I was like, "Ethan, it's time to go. You're pushing the pace, you're pushing yourself, and I want you to push yourself to the limit," which is what he deserves. He worked so hard for it, right? And I'm going to finish it, but I won't finish it if I'm going at your pace. And that in itself is a metaphor that we really can take in life. I needed Ethan for that first 3 kilometers or so, because there was a tricky bit going through the forest. Like he said, it's a maze. And so we lent on each other, 1, for good conversation to get the thing started, and 2, for pathfinding. I knew Ethan would be able to find a path really easily. And then we went our separate ways because Ethan was going to finish that thing super fast. And so yeah, I did come up to this couple who were walking the opposite way, and I just started a conversation with them. So funny. I just had my own conversation with them. I spoke to them for about 30 seconds, asking them how their day was, what was going on with them. You know, how we do. And at the end, they were like, "Oh yeah, and somebody told me to tell you, you have a lovely smile." And I was like, so after all of that, I engaged with these people without knowing that there was a message left, right? Same as you engaged with them without any other reason to do it. Yet we both came together in that moment, even though we were in different separate spaces. So it was a really nice thing, and it did boost me. I can't even lie. It definitely boosted me because I was struggling sometimes. I really was struggling. So yeah, that was brilliant.
But hold on, so okay, we say half a marathon. So you're saying 20 kilometers? We say
21 and a bit.
Mm-hmm. And again, you was training, Jed did it with no training, and you both completed, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah, sir.
Yeah. So yeah, hey, shout out to you guys.
Thank you so much, my bro. Thank you.
So the last 5 kilometers, I'd say, is typically the bit where you start to slow down, you start to really feel it there. The fatigue kicks in.
And the mental fatigue. Like, both of it just come at you, and you're like, "Ah!"
You are doing this repetitive motion for such a long period of time. And I think one of the brilliant aspects of the run was that because the terrain was so diverse, just as if you run around London or you explore a new space, your brain is distracted. It distracts you from any fatigue. It keeps you energized. And having this new experience, because I'd never run across this part of Dartmoor or seen it, kept me going through the last bit. And the final stretch of the run is an uphill run for about 300 to 400 meters, and it's the most vertical part of the climb. And knowing that you're so close with such a steep hill is tough. And in that, I said, on motivational moments, I can hear Fabian going, "Go on, go on." I could feel the energy. I said, I am a Keynes and I'm a Webb. I'm this family. I've got this energy because we do this. I had that belief. I said, after this, we're going to go back and we're going to get Jed. I'm going to do this whole thing again because we don't leave anyone behind. We continue to support each other in our own place, in our own way, in our own space. But we are going to do this because I believe in Jed. I believe in the process, and we did that.
And I'm gonna relate to that. It's like when we went and did Snowdon, like it was such an easy climb until we got to the scramble. Now the scramble was, say, like you're saying, the last 200-300 meters from the top, and people turned back.
Yeah,
it was very difficult. And you got to remember, we did it at a time where the fog was out, so you can't even see the full drop. No. Now, people, when we climbed Snowdon, we took the Watkins path as our good friend Jed Watkins, and you get to the great point where you're almost near the top of the climb and there's great views of the lakes and it looks amazing. But once you continue to climb after that, it gets very difficult. And we went at a time where it was in the morning and it was so foggy where you can't see the drop if you miss your foot. You can't see where you're supposed to climb or to get your foot in. And what I found is like, because of the energy that was around us, it was like, I remember times saying, I don't think we can get up here, but somehow I'm still moving. Yeah. And it's that whole point of, because the energy I share with you two, and when we do something, I find it's so powerful that we do overcome anything. So when you're talking about like, you're going to do this, I'm doing this because of Jed, I'm doing it because of that, I'm doing it because of this and the family. It's like, I find we've built that kind of thing in our circle where we say, no matter what it is, we can do it. Yeah. Except for going Everest, but before you.
I'm on Everest, you know. I know neither of you are, but I'm on it.
Moving on, we're gonna continue. Yeah. And I think we've been talking for a minute now.
Yeah.
So, Is it my time for some food? No.
It's not my favorite 5 minutes of food.
So the question is today on favorite 5 minutes of food. With the shortage going around, of the whole of the UK, and no one being able to get a chicken bake from Greg's, buy water, like literally, or go to Nando's, like literally. So right now, I want to know if you two could pick anything you could grow, or even livestock in your garden. What would it be?
And also, can we give a massive shout out to Kate, a former superstar guest on the pod, who is an incredible gardener, and I think was the inspiration behind this question. Am I right there? Yeah. Whose garden is
fantastic garden.
Shout out Kate, incredible garden. Mrs. Kane's in the building. No, she's not Mrs. Kane's anymore. I'm joking. Okay, I'm joking. Ah, jeez. Controversy. I ain't gonna edit it out because that was kind of funny. But yeah. Shout out Kate.
I think Ethan's gonna go first because he's thought about this question and he might not have the answer, but I'll put it on him now. So
So I enjoy. This is actually a fruit, but it is put forward and put across as a vegetable, and this is the red or orange or yellow tomato. Okay. The tomato is the basis for a number of my favourite dishes, including lasagna, spaghetti bolognese, a number of Italian dishes, but as well as a number of different soups. My favourite soup for a long time was tomato soup, and we have stuff like tomato ketchup. We have, I think you could probably put tomatoes in sriracha. You could put tomatoes everywhere. They are brilliant. They are juicy. If you've never had a pineapple tomato, which is this yellow pineapple-shaped tomato. Wow.
What?
It's incredible.
I did not know there was a pineapple tomato.
I'm going to put a link in the description to pineapple tomatoes.
Have you had a pineapple tomato?
So you can see it. I'm going to find a video on YouTube and just find it and put it in the link in the description so you can look at it. Because I don't know what it looks like.
What does it taste like? What's the
It's really...
In fact, I'm going to get a picture and just put it up right in front of my face.
It's sweet like a tomato. It tastes like a tomato, but with added sweetness. It is. You do not need to have a lot of it to get the kick of it, and it pairs well with a number of different kind of dishes. I think I had it over some aubergine or some courgette, or even mackerel. I think it would go really well with fish. It was delicious. Tomatoes are fairly easy to grow in a greenhouse. You just need a pole and some soil and consistent watering. Tomatoes are
I think tomato is an absolutely amazing choice because tomato is one of those things, like you said, so much variety you can do with it. Like you said, you can make a plain bolognese just with those fresh
Ooh,
tomatoes.
ain't nothing playing about that bolognese once the tomatoes go in there.
But this is what I'm saying. Like, you know, even if it comes down to just a simple like tomato and like cheese sandwich, or like you can do so many things with a fresh tomato. Like, so I'm just thinking about all different meals in my head.
Garden grown tomato hits different compared to what you get in the stores.
Oh yeah,
The
most
juiciness and the flavours are out the wazoo.
Flavors, wazoo flavors.
What about you guys?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm ready for this one.
Yeah,
I've thought about this one.
okay.
I've thought about this one. Ethan just said a word, and he said juicy.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna elaborate upon juicy, innit?
Okay.
It's gotta be the mango.
Yeah.
It's gotta be the mango. You said fruit, so once you threw the fruit out there, I was like, well, the fruit's out there now. So it's gotta be a mango. And for no other reason than I would wake up every single day and chop up that mango and have mango for breakfast. Have mango whenever I felt like it. Imagine just any time you like in life, just being like, I'm gonna have a mango.
Yeah.
Life cannot be as sad with a mango than without a mango.
Facts.
Genuinely, and like they look cool, they taste good. You can turn them into a juice potentially. I don't know the way to do it, but you can make mango juice.
You can, yeah.
Mango lassi.
Oh.
Yeah.
Guys, if you don't know what a lassi is right now, please go and check out what lassis are. Have you ever had a lassi before?
I believe so. I know what it is though.
Bro, the creamy drink is the greatest drink I think I've ever had in my life.
Yeah.
I was introduced to a lassi, like three months ago, and changed my life. Genuinely, I actually am mad I'm not drinking a lassi right now.
It's mango, so
Exactly,
you know what I mean?
mango. It's a winner.
Self-explanatory.
FABZ, it's got to be you, bro.
King
yeah.
Babes.
Boy, see, like when you came up with this question, first of all, I said like pumpkin straight away. Right? For some reason, I said
Halloween, we're feeling spooky.
Yeah. So for me, it was the whole pumpkin soup, a little spice in it, great. Or you know, for my Americans, the pumpkin pie. You get me? Like it goes crazy. But then I thought more cultural, and I felt like, what would I like to be in my garden?
Yeah.
And I think like, you know, for me and for my kids, I'd love to go into a garden and have like a great, say, orange tree or an apple tree. It has to be some kind of tree where my kids could always just pick the fruit. And it's like, you know, like, and I think if I could do it, it would be the sweet pears, not like the pear trees you get here in the UK. Like I'm talking about, you know, the nice, rich, green, sweet pears that you get. One of those kind of trees, just to show like my kid, like this is fresh.
Yeah.
I'm showing you like there's no like polluted oxygen around. It's like straight, take this down and eat that.
Yeah.
And they bite into it, and seeing the reaction on my kid's face, I think that would be amazing.
Yeah.
So something like that, like a fresh fruit tree, even down to like a grape or olive tree, I'd have.
Ooh, grapes, you know. Grapes is such a good choice.
Yeah.
Because genuinely, I don't know if there's a better snack in the world than grapes. I don't know. And that could be a conversation we come to next week. You know, what's the number one snack in the world?
So what, the number one fruit snack in the world?
Well, I think grapes is definitely number one fruit snack in the world, but I think next week we do Phase 5 Minutes Food, number one snack in the world, and we just go at it. But genuinely grapes, like
This video if you think that should be the question for next week.
Yeah. Grapes, you might make me change my thought. You know, no, I'm sick with it. We need to move on before I get stuck on grapes.
Okay, so moving on, guys. Like you spoke about the run.
Yeah.
We know where you was.
Yeah.
What was the scenery like? Explain it to me, because I saw on someone's Instagram they slept on the beach, so I would like to know about that.
Oh my gosh! Can I set the scene for this? Because I'm pumped. So so when Kate and Carl came onto the podcast a long time ago, afterwards,
Shout out to them, by the way.
Incredible episode. It's going to be a link in the bottom. They spoke to us afterwards about sleeping in bivvy bags on the beach, and I was like, what? First of all, what is a bivvy bag? And second of all, what do you mean on the beach? What, is there a hut there? Yeah. And they said, no, you literally just, you lay out a mat, you get in this bivvy bag, and you go to sleep. And I thought, that can't be right. I was like, got to be mad. Me from Lewisham, Blueborough, sleeping by the sea. Sleeping by the sea?
What, yeah, me.
Can't be
beach. Coral beach. No.
What would Fritz say? Anyway.
Shout out Fritz, you know.
Shout out to Fritz. And so I was a bit confused. And then, you know, they explain it to us, and they talk about, you know, literally you get in a sleeping bag, and you put that sleeping bag and a block mattress inside this bivvy bag, which is a very, very large bag, which is slightly weather resistant, keeps you warm, keeps you dry. But for the most part, your head is exposed to Mother Nature unless you tie it real tight and want to get into it if the weather is coming at you. But it wasn't, fortunately. And so they spoke about, you know, falling asleep under the stars.
Yeah.
And genuinely, we fell asleep under the stars. It was just a fantastic experience, and one that I've never had before. For me, that's changed the way I see the world, and it's definitely something that I'm going to do lots more for the rest of my life. It was a bit weird. It was definitely a bit weird, and I definitely did not get a lot of sleep because that moon was shining. But there is no experience in the world like falling asleep while the moon is up and you can hear the waves and see the moonlight glistening. And me and Ethan, we had a great time. We spoke loads. Like, what's your take? And set the scene a bit more for us, please.
So we got dropped off about a mile and a half, maybe 2 miles from the beach, and we have to walk through one beach to get to this other one, which is far more secluded and less open and exposed to the elements.
Yeah.
And walking through this, the sun was just starting to come down. It was reflecting off the sea, and the waves catch the light of the sun in such a beautiful way.
Yeah.
So we took a number of pictures. We walked over these hills, and getting as we got closer and closer, the excitement rose. I'd been to this beach once before, but I'd never spent an evening at this beach. We also set about making a small fire, which set the mood very nicely. The crackling
Fireman
of the wood, along with, as Jed mentioned, the waves from the sea, it created a sensory just wonder.
Yeah.
And fire attracts some wildlife, such as flies. But the wonderful thing about this is when we were in these bivy bags, because of the flies that had been attracted, it also attracted bats.
Yeah.
And I rarely see bats. You don't really see bats in England, but it attracted these bats that would do a kind of swooping about 5 or 6 meters above our head. And these bats are kind of fruit bats or small bats that aren't going to do any damage to us. So there was very little to be concerned about, but you got to see these animals that are so mysterious and dark just swoop around.
Yeah.
Waking up the next morning about 5:30, it was just before the sun was rising. If you go to my Instagram, I'm going to plug it here, just to see the images, the plethora of and spectrum of colours from this kind of light blue all the way through the pinks and oranges were unlike any that you typically see, or especially being in London and being so central.
Just see grey, bro. But look at the yard. I see brown and grey. So this was a whole thing. You said sensory overload. That's exactly what it was.
It was just wonderful, and we started the day off with some fruit, and it was just a beautiful experience, and one that I'd recommend to anybody, just to spend a night under the stars. I remember waking up in the middle of the night and looking and seeing more stars than I've ever seen in London.
You'd have loved it. I definitely thought of you when we were there. But I can't lie, the moon needs to chill, because real talk, the moon was brighter than the ring light we've got behind the camera right now. It was so bright, I could not get to see. The world needs to turn the light off sometimes. Electricity bill must be through the roof.
So this is the whole point. Is that why, like I always say to people, get more in touch with nature. It's like you don't realise when you live in a city how bright the moon is. It's like when I went to Egypt many years ago, we went out into the Alps. Well, I'll say the Alps, but like mountainsides or whatever. And we went and you could see the moon, but it was pitch black. But because how bright the moon was shining down, it wasn't pitch black. And it's that whole thing, until you take away all the man-made elements, you don't actually see the real stuff. It's like the whole thing, seeing the stars. I can just imagine being at the seaside at night with the moon and the stars. You see everything.
And we did. And you know what was even better? Me and Ethan saw each other. Like, we spent a good 3, 4, maybe 5. I lost count, and that's how wonderful it was. There was no time to keep. There was just, we spent hours and hours talking. You know, and sharing and connecting and bonding. And one thing that we've spoken about before in this podcast is sometimes digital connection loses the real human connection that you have when you're in person, when you're sharing. And so we didn't have anything but that fire and the moon and the waves, and we spoke for 5 hours, and it was a real connection of brotherhood, and there were serious conversations about vulnerabilities that we have and people we love and our families, and that's something that you don't do regularly. We do not do. And so I implore anybody right now, if there's somebody you haven't spoken to in a while, who you love, who you adore, please give them a call and just have a real conversation, because we live together, but that's the deepest conversation we've had in months, and it was a blessing.
And that's another thing, like you say, taking away like everything away. And that's one thing I used to do. I used to have a thing where every Friday I'd call a member of my family.
Yeah.
Because my family's so big, I said, you can't speak to everyone all the same time. So I'll call someone I've not spoken to in the last month or last 2-3 weeks or whatever. And just have a conversation, say, oh, what's good? What's happening? You know, because at the end of the day, I thought it's like, speaking to someone I've not spoken to in ages, it's a whole thing like, wow, like, where do they come from? And that's family. Yeah. And that's how I see it. And it's like, where, like I always say before, how like family orientated my mum was, and I'm not so much like that. I think from when mum passed, I kind of standoffish because I thought I need to take my time. I can't have everyone keep coming to me and say, oh my god this, oh my god that, like yeah, we don't need that. And now it's got to a point where like, you know, you can do that kind of thing. And I think so many people get distance from their family and certain friends when you don't even know why you're not speaking to someone anymore. Yeah, it's true. Like, it's been so long, you say, oh, we just don't speak. And it's like, but why? Yeah, what's going on there? Yeah. Connect. And going to those places, you know, stepping away from it, it makes you take that deep breath and realise this is life. Yeah. Exactly that. I'm pretty sure I said that. I'm pretty sure I said those 3 words while I was on the beach with the fire burning. It was fantastic. And that's what I said to you, like, doing Snowdon, it brought that back into me so much and realised this is why I want to move to Australia. This is why I want to detach. Because I realised this is life. Not Instagram, not Snapchat, not... That's not like... People see that, oh my god, I need that. Yeah. I said, take that away. Yeah. Take it away. It's like, you know, like Gary Vee said, what happens when social media just goes down? Yeah. Then what? Bro, I want to come back to something. You keep talking about Snowdon and climbing mountains. What if we climb Everest? You know what? Yeah. Let me just nip that in the bud. What is our final question of the day? Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. See, that's why I'm like, bro. So, final question of the day, people, is these guys obviously took a road trip down to, obviously, Cornwall. Was it Devon. Devon. Oh, they're neighbours to Cornwall, so pretty much. Yeah, that's what I thought. So yeah, they took a nice little road trip down to Devon. Now, final question is, if you were going on a road trip, what 3 people would you bring with you? I think that we should do one each. Yeah, that's a great shout. One person each. Yeah, so us 3 are in the car. Yeah. So us 3 in a we're in the front seat. Yeah. Who do we want in the back seat? So we're in. I want to set the setting even better. Yeah. So you know the mystery bus that they have in Scooby Doo. Yeah. We've got one of them, and it's a chill setting. We got RV. It's got RV. Yeah. No, better than that. We've got like our own made kind of thing in the back. There's pillows and cushions. All right. And you know what I mean? Like real us kind of style. Yeah. And that's what we're in. We're in that, and we're traveling, right? We are driving across, let's say America, because Route 66 is a very famous road, right? Alright, we'll do Route 66. Yeah. So we're going from wherever to wherever. I don't actually know where Route 66 goes, but that's what we're doing. We're doing that journey. Yeah. That's the setting, right? Yeah. And also, you've got to consider things like, what playlists are these people? Is that person you're bringing? What playlists are they going to bring? Yeah. What topics of conversation are they going to bring up? What information do they have? What ideas would they have that might be fun? You know, because you might have someone who's real spontaneous. Yep. So there might be somebody who wants to go skinny dipping in a lake, but you might have someone who's quite serious who might want to go to have debates and stuff like that. You know, really take into consideration all of that, because this fantastic question comes from Ethan, and I want to do it justice. I want to do it the gorgeousness it deserves. So who would you take? That's fantastic, and I was kind of, you know what, you're a snake. I can start. I tell you what. First of all, I want to call out why he's a snake, because I was actively stalling and describing and being real descriptive, so everybody had more time to think. Because I know like 4 people I can take, so I don't mind. Run the thing, bro. Run the thing. I was just lost in your words, so so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna list the 2 first people to give these guys some more time, because they obviously need some more time. We've only got one each. I know we've only got one each, so I'm gonna take more time, and you guys aren't gonna say the other 2 because they're kind of too. There and you want to say that. I got you. So because at first I was thinking like, you know, an Elon Musk or a Jeff Bezos. Now the reason why, it's not because they're rich, right? I would like to take these guys on a road trip to ask them about their journey. Ask them before Tesla, before Amazon, back when they was only worth say $1 million. Back when he was in a bookshop, when he was working in McDonald's. Yeah. I would ask them, what was that transition to the next step? Because I think so many people, you know, they struggle to come from average Joe to I own a business. And it's a successful business. Yeah. So I would like to take them and speak about everything, like, you know, the actual journey. Forget about, how do you make so much money? No, forget that. I don't want to know that. I want to know, what was the journey from Amazon just being one thing to being, now it's $1 trillion company? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, and like, on top of that,
Elon Musk, his journey's not really exciting because man came from being very rich for bad reasons.
yeah.
Stuff. But Jeff Bezos, though, his journey and the way he understands the world is fascinating.
This is what I mean. Asking about his journey, you know, making that step from where he first started to when he was just selling books to when he wasn't worth any money. Yeah. And it's like, my thing is like, people always think, oh no, these guys make so much money, but you think back to when that kind of money wouldn't even exist. Yeah. Yeah, you're going back to when the internet just came around. Yeah. These guys came up with these kind of ideas, and now look at them. Yeah. So forget about the money. You want to get into that kind of person's brain to say, what's your next step? What are you trying to do next? Yeah. You know, it's that whole thing like he went and bought, was it BT Sport just before Messi signed? Did he really? Yeah. I didn't even know that happened. Guys, news updates on the podcast. It's crazy. Yeah, so breaking news. He just bought it just before that Messi signed to PSG, right? Yeah. And then they said their subscriptions, as soon as Messi signed, went up through the roof. Of course. And it's that whole thing is just like, how did you think to make that kind of deal to see that? Because you already seen a future. Yeah. So going on to that, people, the person I would pick to go on to my road trip would be Gary V. This man throws a curveball. He spoke all this time. No, I can't believe this. I've been rumbled. I was there like, Jeff Bezos, he's a guy, fantastic. And he's a Gary V. So, and the reason why I'm going to say Gary V, people, Gary V was the guy that told everyone to get on TikTok before TikTok was crazy. He did, you know, he really did. Gary V is also the person that's telling everyone, invest in NFTs now before it goes crazy. Yeah. And NFTs are already going crazy, and he's still telling people to invest in NFTs. Bro, he was telling people, like 2 years ago, he was telling people, everyone get on podcasts. On that. And here we are, making our podcast. Right, so exactly. Gary V he's a truth teller. Right, he's another person where I said, I want to get into his brain and understand what are your steps. How did you come about these steps? Why do you think the way you think? Yeah. And that's one thing I always say to myself. If you meet anyone where you feel is a bit more successful than you, don't ask them, how did you become successful? Yeah. Ask them how they think. How do you think about going around and making the decisions you make? Because sometimes that's the difference. Sometimes it's the difference between you not spending money to say, no, I spend my money on this because in 2 years' time, that's gonna pay off. Yeah. Like, what I notice about the rich is that they are happy to wait for something they know is 100% guaranteed. And it's that whole thing, like I said just earlier with Jeff Bezos, with buying that because he knows people always want to watch football. It's going to go through the roof at some point. Yeah. And there you go. Messi helped that. Yeah. So, moving on. But that's my guy. Yeah. Who's getting next? I got someone, unless you want to, because you've been doing research that might be just fresh in the head.
I can jump on.
Please do.
So, I wanted to go, I often pick people that are very well known and more generic. And I wanted to go a bit off script here and pick someone that would be interesting. And so I've gone, interesting in a different way. So I've gone for a photographer by the name of Sandy Kim. And this woman is a photographer for a number of people, including Travis Scott. She recently photographed Rick Rubin, Kim Kardashian, and she is a well-established and well-known photographer within the hip-hop world, and one of my favourite hip-hop photographers, for want of a better term. And on this road trip, we are going to be going from city to city across the States, which is where she's based, so it's quite convenient to potentially have this tour guide. But also, this person will have the best playlist in the world, because not only that will they have met all of these people, and they probably have some of their new songs that they've listened to, unreleased bits and clips, and then maybe the new Baby Keem, maybe the new Kendrick is on her radar. But also, she knows all of the upcoming people, all of the people that sitting on the labels are just about to drop their fire heat song. And then how do you capture this road trip? All of these wonderful people with a number of portraits of who did we say? We said, not Jeff Bezos, we said Gary V. Capturing Gary V. Capturing Fabian in all of his glory. With all of the drip that he's been bringing every single episode. I dare you to watch every single episode and pre this man's drip.
Swag every single episode. We need a quality photographer to capture that, man, right?
Exactly. I'm only wearing Wiz Khalifa right now.
Very few people are as well equipped as Sandy Kim to take photographs, and I would want to be within that vicinity to have conversations, all of these stories and moments and people's habits. I want to know how these different people that inspire me tick, but also how this photographer tips. What are there's so much to learn there. There's a wealth of knowledge that I'm ready to tap into.
Yeah.
Shout out to Sandy Kim.
But also, what I find is, and just to add onto this fantastic suggestion, and I really do want Sandy Kim as our road trip guest now. You've won me over. I didn't know who Sandy Kim was, and now you've won me over. But to add to that, a lot of the great photography that features on my Instagram and features on Motivational Moments London Instagram, the picture of me and Fabian overlooking a lake on Snowdon, on top of Snowdon, was taken by Ethan, a great photographer who is studying that art of photography. So you could even just like you're there like just picking the brain of a genius at work, which is just another addition. It's fantastic. I would love that. That's fantastic.
Bro, it's your time, bro.
Is it my time?
Yeah, it's your time.
It's my time to
Let's see who the great Jedi was gonna be.
So you know what? Road trips are so awesome, right? I like going on road trips on my own. You know, I drove back from Devon on my own and at midnight. And I put on some albums recommended by the fantastic people who hosted me. And that was great. And I enjoyed seeing the world through the lens of me driving through the middle of the night. And so road trips in themselves are fantastic. They're great places to tell stories. They're great places to listen to incredible music and podcasts. They're great places to find somewhere new. I love little detours you go on. And Route 66 would be the perfect embodiment of that. We would just be like, oh, Nashville's just off the road? Sure, we'll go there. Oh, this place is here? Sure, we'll do that. And I thought we need someone who is adaptable and can come up with these fresh ideas as well. Who, you know, if it's a long day, because not all of America is worth seeing, let's be honest. And you're just on the road for about 12 hours, just trying to go from one city to another city. A person who would turn that journey from going from one city to another city and make the journey the bit that's important and fun is Willow Smith. I think Willow Smith would be absolutely amazing for this. One, her dad's Will Smith, right? So we already know she would have endless amounts of stories about how her father is a kooky guy who just has endless ideas and is full of charisma. But Willow Smith, in her own right, is her own wonderful and beautiful and amazing person. She has incredible music taste, right? First of all, her mum was in a band. Her dad was the first ever Grammy Award-winning rapper, to my knowledge. And so she has an incredible heritage, but her music in itself is fantastic. She has hip-hop songs, she has pop songs, she also has this rumoured rock album that's coming some point. We'll never know. So the fact that she had that varied music taste would keep us excited for hours and hours and hours on the road, right? On top of that, she is an actor, she's a performer, so we could play charades, we could play loads of different games. She's an incredibly versatile human being and someone who would give us endless amounts of fun on the trip. And I think that would be just as valuable as everything that we bring to it. I think she'd bring that same level. And you know, if we were going to record a podcast, she would want to support that as well. She would want to get on that and help. Yeah. So she could bring endless energy to our endless energy, and it would be an energy supernova. That's my pick.
Okay. So we got Willow Smith after the mic drop. So Willow Smith, Gary V, and
Sandy Kim.
So we got a photographer. We got a man with plenty of knowledge. And we got Willow Smith bringing the style to everything.
Oh yeah.
Just dropping on it.
Yeah.
And of course us three.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a very cool road trip.
That's a road trip I want to be on right now. Guys, when are we heading to Route 66? NFL season's around the corner. We go from city to city, state to state, watching American football games with the crew.
I hear it. I hear it. Hey, boy. Listen, don't start me off anyway. I'm always about it.
So I just wanted to leave the podcast and close the podcast with a bit of wisdom from my mum. We were in a car park on our longboards just skating, and what my mum says in this minute is something that I aspire to, a way in which I aspire to live my life by. So guys, please just listen, take it all in, replay it a couple of times, and just enjoy.
Have a wonderful week.
Well, some adults lose their ability to play, and to be fun, and to be joyful about things, and they get this kind of like, you know, mindset that you're, you know, we're too old to have fun, too old to, I don't know,
too serious to enjoy life, as opposed to just...
And it's like, you know, it's that whole thing about how society perceives you, and they want to be perceived in a particular way, especially if they've got a bit of money, and, you know, that's a bit aspirational, you know, neat garden, you know, shiny car. It's like skateboarding. No,
That's that doesn't fit that mould.
Dented car, like get in the seat and like the skateboard. Do you know what I mean?
Having fun with it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, because we won't be able to do this forever. It's like, live it while you can.
Exactly. Cruising.